issue an invitation for Ukraine to join NATO when allies agree and conditions are met.
All right, NATO leaders today took a curtain call for protecting Ukraine and defending democracy. The one thing no one is talking about as President Biden is meeting with all of NATO is how to end this war. And if you think about it, most wars end through negotiation. World War I, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, all ended with both sides sitting down and talking. Yet it appears we won't be seeing Zelensky and Putin or the representatives sitting at the same table for peace anytime soon. The administration is adamant there's no discussion about Ukraine without Ukraine at the table, and there's no pressure right now on the Ukrainians to negotiate. Both sides are losing troops by the hour. Estimates show the Russians have suffered over 190,000 casualties since last February. Ukraine has about 125,000. Of course, the loss of life is terrible, but that's between Ukraine and Russia. The problem is the longer this goes on, the more importantly for America, the longer this goes on, the chance for miscalculation, the chance of the Russians using their nuclear weapons, the chance something unpredictable happens continues to go up every day. We saw that with the sort of one-day Russian coup attempt that happened a couple of weekends ago. One more thing. The longer this goes on, the more of our weapons stockpiles we deplete giving weapons to the Ukrainians. Daniel Fried served as Assistant Secretary of State for Europe, joins us now. It's good to see you, sir. Look, I understand supporting Ukraine. I get that. The aggression by Russia is both wrong and frankly, you got to lay down a marker against somebody like Vladimir Putin. At the same time, Jake Sullivan's utopia of a territorially intact Ukraine and you throwing the Russians out of Crimea isn't going to happen. At what point does the United States need to say to Ukraine, look, we'll give you weapons, but you got to negotiate with Russia?
What makes you so sure that Ukraine can't win the war? I don't know that they can win, but I certainly know the Russians cannot win. And the Ukrainians are now engaged in a counterattack, trying to take their own territory back. We're supporting them. The Ukrainians might not succeed, but they could. The battlefield will decide that. It is not in the American interest to pull the Ukrainians back at this time. They're fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their country. The Russians show absolutely no interest in serious negotiations. Putin demands basically a Ukrainian surrender. So it is in our interest to back the Ukrainians while they're fighting the good fight. And if it turns out that they can't liberate more or all of their territory, which is possible, then we'll see. But right now, the Ukrainians are advancing. The Russians don't look so good. And NATO seems united that we shouldn't push the Ukrainians to start giving up their territory. By the way, if the Ukrainians give up their territory to the Russians, we know what happens. Concentration camps, looting, killing, murders.
I thought
it's not.
Yeah, no, I get it. I spent a lot of time in Ukraine in 2014 during the first Russian invasion. I think giving Vladimir Putin anything is like giving a mouse a cookie. He's going to want a glass of milk at some point. But U.S. concessions to Ukraine: Stinger anti-aircraft missiles sent, Patriot missile defense system sent, M1 Abrams tanks sent, cluster munitions sending, long-range missiles now considering to send. You got F-16s basically by proxy going there. Again, how long is too long? And I understand your point about the counteroffensive. It's slowing right now. You're going to have winter soon. Again, at what point do we say the threats of miscalculation, of misunderstanding, of other things going pear-shaped are too great? And I would argue with you that the Russians will use nukes before they'd give up Crimea. Why allow the Ukrainians to put the world in that position and not at least talk about talking?
The Ukrainians have not put the world in this position. Russia has. Russia started this war for no good reason. I don't think the Russians are talking occasionally about nuclear weapons, trying to frighten us. I don't think they'll use them. I think the Biden administration has made it clear to the Russians that that would be a very bad idea.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.